All right, welcome everybody. So this is going to be lesson 1.1, and it's all about the essential checking account. So this is our very first lesson, so let's begin. All right, so this is the student activity packet. You guys can have this online in Canvas. Please make sure you either download it or open this file up, and you can actually save as and write on it. There's a process and there is a way to do this. Please check Canvas. I have an instructional video already set up for how you guys can do this on your own. All right, so let's begin. First thing I want to make sure you guys understand is the discussion prompts, okay? Do you have a checking account? Why or why not? I want to know your personal feelings on this. And then what do you think are some advantages and disadvantages of having a checking account? Remember, the rules are simple, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter what you put here. They just have to be in complete and full sentences. Remember, my requirements for you guys is I want to find out what's in your mind and what you're thinking. And then what I do as your teacher is I'm going to make sure I give you the facts and kind of give you more perspective. But I need to know where you're at as well, okay? So go ahead and fill these two things out, and then we'll continue on in a second. All right, so the next thing you want to do is, why should you use a bank? So we had talked about this before in my previous videos. Please make sure you guys understand these are hyperlinks. Okay, so I'd want you to click on that.
Welcome to Ask Cash, where we go on the streets and talk to everyday people about.
All right, so there's a video related to this. So what I want you guys to do is watch this video and then look at the 5 reasons why you need a checking account. It's a nice article that was written about stating 5 reasons why you'd want to do this from Net Credit. And it's simple enough that you guys would go ahead and read this. Some of the things on here, top 5 reasons. Number 1 would be safety and protection, convenience and free check cashing. Okay, this is something that'll be talked about in a second. Convenient and free bill pay, debit card convenient, and budgeting tools. Okay, there's a couple different things in relation to this. Some of the cool things that have occurred in the last 20 years, where things have changed extensively in the debit card industry. Okay, it used to be when you had a debit card, you'd pull it up and it had a little symbol on it that was not Visa or MasterCard. And what you would do is you would have to match that symbol to like a gas station or to a couple different areas. I remember when I first got my debit card, I didn't have one in high school. Okay, I had a checking account in high school, but you had to write a physical check or you had to pull out cash all the time. And the only place you could pull out cash was at the home bank. So I had a bank out in the country called Bank of Munich, and everything was saved out there. And so the only time I ever had, if I wanted to get cash, I'd have to drive about 15 minutes from my house to the bank. They only had, I think, 1 or 2 locations. I think they had 2 locations. And you would go out there, you put your card in the ATM, and you'd get your cash out. Okay, it was a very new concept until only recently, and I'd say the last 15 to 17 years, is when debit cards actually incorporated Visa or MasterCard, okay? And so they were allowed everywhere. A lot of banks are now using budgeting tools. I know Bank of America, when I had them, I don't currently bank with them, they had a huge budgeting tool aspect that you could use, okay? So what I want you guys to do is same thing. Explain why it's important to take advantage of FDIC. If you don't know what that is, write it out, okay? It's in this article. And then one might argue that a checking account is essential because it enables you to manage the rest of your financial life. And then give some examples of how checking is useful in the realms of saving, budgeting, and other financial tasks. Remember, the goal is complete sentences. These notes can be used later on a test, okay? And at the end of this unit, we will also have an exit ticket that you guys will have to use on Canvas, okay? So it's a 10-question exam that you guys will always have after every lesson. So go ahead and fill these out. Pause the video if you need to and go from there. All right, here's another cool video. What are some disadvantages of being locked out of or chosen to belong to a traditional banking account? There's a big documentary called Spent, okay?
Every year, over 30 million Americans use.
And there's a nice political ad in front of it. But what I want to make sure you guys do is when you guys go to YouTube and you watch the ad, and then you can skip through it. So hold on, let me see if I can skip through this in a second here. Thank you, sir. All right. So when you're going through here,
And for many of them,
make sure you guys understand. So this is actually talking about a check cashing service where they take fees out of it. So if you don't want to belong to a bank, you do have to cash your checks that are given to you because you don't have direct deposit, you don't have anything, you use a cash system, you have this set up. So look at this, find out what some of the disadvantages are and write them down there as well. Okay, reference, make deposits and withdrawals, okay? Here's a little reference thing that next generation personal finances set up. Okay, now this might be harder for you guys to read. I know you can see it a little bit, but it talks about ways to deposit money in a checking account, also called credit. Let me see if I can zoom this up a little bit. Let's go 50. All right, see if I can get it to show. And then the other thing is I can't really. The other one would be ways to withdraw money. All right, when you're doing on this setup here, fit it. Okay, so you have ways of depositing money at a bank branch, through an ATM, direct deposit, electronic, mobile app. That is a new thing, okay, that most people in here that we'll talk about, that's actually gonna be a project that's at the end of this lesson. And then a third-party app, which is the newest thing, a person-to-person payment. Ways to withdraw at a bank, through an ATM, write a check, debit card. Checks don't really exist that much anymore. Electronic transfer to another account. Those exist all the time. In the business world, you will use that a lot. And then online bill pay, mobile app, and then the third-party person-to-person apps like Venmo, Zelly, and some other ones that we'll get to in a bit here. All right, so one other thing you guys can do is there are people that use prepaid cards. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is on this, what are two methods of depositing? Find one out, and withdrawing. What is the main difference between a debit card and a credit card? It's very important that you guys know that. Okay, so here on this article here.
Welcome to Ask Ash Cash.
Okay, watch this again. How does a checking account work, and what's the difference? You guys need to know that debit and credit are two completely different things. If you don't know what that is, write it in. If you think you know what those are, go ahead and write that topic in as well, and then we'll go from there. All right, prepaid cards, what are they? Okay, so here's a chart about prepaid cards. All right, first I would want you to watch this video, and it's actually pretty informative.
David didn't like carrying cash around.
Okay, it talks about prepaid cards. What I want you guys to do is watch the video on your own. Otherwise, this video would be extremely long. And then 9 things to know about prepaid cards. Okay, skim through this. Now it says here, skim the lengthy article. You don't got to read it, but skim through it in order to complete this chart. Okay, so some comparisons. I want to make sure you guys would do that. All right, so as you go scroll through here, think about preloaded cards. Prepaid cards are more like a debit card than credit because you have to actually put money onto a prepaid card. Now, they're actually quite prevalent. I know a lot of people, if you don't use a banking system, you can use a prepaid card. They have those at Walmart, but what they do is they sell them. If you guys have ever noticed, by gift cards, there's a prepaid Visa card that sits there. What you can actually do is keep loading and putting your own money in it. And what you would do is you'd go into Walmart, you'd say, here is $500, please put this on my prepaid card. They would do it for you, and then you, ladies and gentlemen, you'd be able to pay bills because a lot of people don't accept cash anymore. Now, that's a bit of controversy as the months and years have progressed, that some people want to go to a cashless society. I personally don't think that's a good idea, and we'll talk about that later because there's a lot of people in the service industry that will be affected by that. What I mean by that is technically speaking, you're supposed to report all income to the IRS, but some people that I know personally, if they are a waitress, if they cut hair, if they do a service industry like that, and you get a tip, if you get the tip in cash, some people don't report that to the IRS. Okay, so that is one disadvantage to a cashless system. Okay, so watch the video, give some comparisons, and then go from there. Okay, here is after watching the video. Give one piece of advice to someone who is going to use a prepaid card and tell them, and ask them and say, would you recommend it? Okay, I want to know your opinion. Picture yourself 10 years from now. Do you think a debit card or using a prepaid card will be more advantageous? So go ahead and answer that question as well. Remember, this is worth a grade. I want to make sure you guys can do this, and please go ahead and do it. All right, research, pay person to person. This will be done in a little bit here, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be the next assignment. So that's it for this lesson. So what I want to make sure you guys do is identify the exit ticket. Give me a couple different things here. Fill these out in complete sentences. And then what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, is on Canvas, there is going to be an exit ticket quiz. So make sure you do that. It's a 10-question comprehensive quiz that we have. So please make sure you do that next, all right? So the next video and the next thing is we'll be talking about the research person-to-person payments. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you and talking to you soon.